Shall we round things out with a look at Donk and Scorsese?
Yes. My mind's like an episode of Twin Peaks, says one of the characters in Donk and Scorsese, and I'm not entirely sure what he means at the point, but if in case it's like sort of confusing but also wonderful, sure, that works. After his genuinely quite sinister performances in A Room for Romeo and Brass and particularly Dead Man's Shoes, it's nice to be reminded of Paddy Considine's comedy acting chops. Also insert here Andy in Hot Fuzz. Here, in his third collaboration with longtime friend Meadows, he plays the roadie and wannabe talent promoter Donk, as he uses a job working with these arctical monkeys all the young folks are into at the gig in Manchester to try and engineer an opportunity for Scorsese, Dean Palunchik, an unexpectedly gifted young rapper whom Donk has taken under his wing. Recalling in style other mockumentaries like This Is Spinal Tap, Donk was shot in only 5 days and on a budget of less than £50,000 in the run-up to what was a real concert, and it's a remarkably accomplished film given these constraints. Key to this is Considine's very committed, very funny and almost entirely improvised performance, and some genuinely quality rhymes from Palunchik, and it's really funny, and I don't have a lot more to say about it, to be honest. I mean, what more do you say? It's a mockumentary where Paddy Considine's sort of quite impressively in character the whole time, the way with it doesn't let slip, but doesn't feel improvised for the most part. It feels tight, with the occasional sort of slightly meta nod, and the whole thing feels quite meta actually. Nod to his previous performance in Shane Meadows films, and I guess I'd like to see the documentary about the mockumentary, in which Shane Meadows directs Shane Meadows directing a documentary. But yeah, I don't have a lot more to say because it's kind of a slight film. Again, very slight running time. It's just fun.
Yeah, I think, Constantine and Meadows have been friends for a while. I think there's been a number of short films they've made together with Donk in it. I've not seen any of them, but they were just checking his IMDb page. So there's a number of them going back to the kind of late 90s. So in a way, it's kind of revisiting that, which I guess perhaps is maybe why it feels maybe more polished than you might expect if this was just coming from, fresh from whole cloth. I enjoyed this an awful lot back in the day when I first saw it. I've not really watched it at all since, or really thought about it in the intervening time. Revisiting it, I still enjoyed it. I'm not sure I really got anything more out of it. Whereas the kind of the classics of the mockumentary genre, like Spinal Tap, is clearly kind of aping itself towards. I've watched Spinal Tap numerous times and got something funnier out of it each time. It kind of really does kind of grow with almost every rewatch or listening to the commentary and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I don't think I'm going to ever quite get that from Donk and Scorsese, but that does not stop it being quite funny on the first time through. I think, again, you say, Paddy's performance is fantastic and really funny. Scorsese's beats are good. Well, his rhymes are. You've got to worry about the beats because it is a lot of beats. It's very funny. Everyone, I think, who's any interest in Meadows' work should watch this at least once. It's a very slight thing. There's nothing in here that's even remotely as powerful. There's not even anything as dramatically impactful as you got in something like Once Upon a Time in the Midlands, for example. But it's probably funnier, and what's wrong with that? It's funny. That's a good thing if you're in the market for a comedy. So, yeah, definitely worth watching if you've not done so already. Not really redefining the genre, but it's certainly a very worthy addition to the genre.
I think you're hiding to nothing if you compare it to This Is Spinal Tap.
Because it's the best. It is probably the best.
Spinal Tap is This Is Spinal Tap.
Yes.
But it's for something produced in 5 days.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some preparation for it, but 5 days on a budget of less than 50 grand. It's impressive.
Yes.
And especially given that Paddy Considine's role is almost entirely improvised. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly good. And Dean Palunchik as Scorsese, he's got some skill.
Yeah.
He reminded me a bit, there's there was a rapper on Adam and Joe's. Oh, what was it called? They did a series of podcasts sponsored by Coca-Cola. I don't remember those, either of you.
No.
With like kind of like Coca-Cola New Talent or something. There's a rapper on there called Phaser who did a really good James Bond inspired rap. It reminds me a bit.
That's a deep cut.
Phaser's James Bond inspired rap.
Yeah, deep cuts are kind of good. Like when you've got a memory as good as mine, it's like
It's right up. It's right up there with Eminem dissing Donald Trump.
But yeah, he reminds me, actually, Scott, you'll know him. I don't know if you do, Craig. It's a less polished, less finished version, but his rhymes remind me quite a bit of Decisive.
Yeah.
No, it's not ringing a bell.
He's worked with DJ Format quite a lot.
Yeah.
Derek Crisp is his real name, which is just as unassuming as Dean Palinchuk, I guess. Yeah, he's got really good rhymes. It's kind of, you don't expect that from the way he's got no confidence or anything, but when he's on the mic, he's really good. Like, he's actually clearly a skilled rapper. Paddy Constantine having a great time, just sort of off the cuff, coming up with this kind of a bit of a get guy who kind of fancies himself a bit better than he is, but he kind of with a bit of self-awareness coming out at the end. It's just nice. I just from your review back at the time, Scott, you said for film which is not only improvised but also shot over a mere 5 days, the quality it's achieved is remarkable. Also, it should by rights be mean that we take a new Shea Meadows film every month, which would be awesome. Yes,
Didn't work
yes,
out that
it would.
way. Yes.
I want more Shea Meadows films, please.
Maybe Meadows just realised that the ultimate message that he needed to impart upon the world was that Deirdre Barlow should probably calm down. And maybe she has done by this point. I don't know. I don't watch Coronation Street, so it's hard to tell.
I guess you've not seen this one, Craig.
Nope.
It's an hour long. You could probably serve yourself well by watching it.
Oh, I may.